Well, lovely viewers, you know what this video is about, don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And not just because you read the title of the video, it's because we all know what happened last week. The House of Hades came out. The fourth installment of the Heroes of Olympus series has been highly anticipated by all of the fandom for approximately ever. Ladies and gentlemen, the House of Hades review. Dun dun dun! I love this book so much. I mean, just look at it! Look at it! It's so pretty! It's so pretty! And so sad. Oh my gosh. There was so much speculation about the cover of this book and like what the shadows meant. Someone said they saw a minotaur in the shadow, and I never saw that, so I don't know what they're talking about. This is such an amazing book. It's probably going to be a long review. I don't know yet because I'm just currently making this video. As you're watching it, I've already made it, but to me right now, I'm making it. So I don't know how long I'm going to take on the topics that I'm going to discuss, but it will be a while. Yes, it will. It will be a while. I'm predicting 16 minutes. So if I get 16 minutes, I get to buy myself that new skirt I saw on Pinterest. And if I am any 2 minutes below or above, I won't buy that skirt I saw on Pinterest, which is really sad because it was a really cute skirt, so I might buy it anyways. But that's not the point. The point is, ladies and gents, I have a list. I have a freaking list of what we are to talk about today. Okay, number 1, the dedication. Oh my gosh, Rick Riordan, you are the funniest and most frustrating author I have ever had the misfortune/pleasure to read the works of. To my wonderful readers, sorry about that last cliffhanger. Well, no, not really. Ha 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 ha! But seriously, I love you guys. We love you too, Rick. Number 2. The beginning of the book was pretty hard for me to get into, and I don't know why that was exactly. It's possibly because the book came like 2 days after the actual release of the book. Because I think some people like reread the series and then were like a day or two away from this coming out to be able to start it, to like be in the zone. I wasn't in the zone. Unfortunately, college students don't really have a lot of time on their hands. But I got in the zone, trust me. I got in the zone. Okay, next one. Oh yeah, speaking of me fangirling every 5 minutes, I was fangirling every 5 minutes. I swear, I'm sitting on my bed, reading my book like this. Well, not like this because that's uncomfortable. And we all know when we read a book on your bed. Has anyone seen that video by CASSJAYTUCK of the how to read a book? It's like very true. It's like exactly what I do. It's the weirdest thing. She just knows. Cassie knows. Watch the video. I'll put a link in the description. So I was sitting on my bed reading the book, and literally almost every in every chapter something happens where I was like or I was like or I was like oh, or I was like my roommate Sydney was just at one point, she was like, oh my gosh, like you're going crazy. Are you okay? And I was like, obviously not. I am not okay, Sydney. What do you think? But that's a different story. Tangent. The weirdest thing ever is happening on in my book, like right here. Like I turned the page, I was flipping through the pages one day just to look at them because they're pretty, and I saw this bent page and I was like, okay, not cool, that wasn't me. That's obviously the packing company or Amazon like sent it to me, and that's not okay. So I unbent it and look at that. It's so weird. Can you like see what it looks like? I'll close the book for you. That little, it's sticking out. It's like a triangle. I'm not exactly, see right there. I'm not exactly sure how one would fix that, so I'm not going to try. But it annoys the heck out of me that it's bent, so I keep on unbending it, but it's like, I don't know. I did have a smallish problem with the book that I've heard some people voice the same opinion. The whole Nico thing. Like, Nico. Since freaking when? Spoiler! 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 Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the fact that Nico's gay. Like, I'm not. That's not the point of this. The point of this is just saying it felt so contrived. And I've heard people say this exact thing, that it felt like Rick Riordan was right. We've all know the story behind the Percy Jackson series, because his son has ADHD and is dyslexic. So he used those as like strengths in the Percy Jackson series that meant you were a demigod. And I think that worked out really well because it all like made sense to us. It was like logical. They're dyslexic because they're hardwired for ancient Greek, and they're ADHD because they're hardwired for battle, not classroom setting. So it makes perfect sense. But Nico being gay, it was just like, I felt like the only reason it was in the book was because Rick Riordan was keeping up the, not the idea, but the proactiveness of the book, of giving people who are bullied or who feel bad about a certain part of themselves a reason to not hate that part of themselves and to connect with someone else. And on that, like, it's like, I think that's a good thing, that people who have ADHD or dyslexic or gay like have a character to connect with in a book who's a really good person who people love. So that's really good. It just felt like that was the only reason. Like, there were no other plot purposes, and it didn't logically make sense to me. So that is the only beef I had with it. Otherwise, like, whatever, go for it. I really don't care. Spoiler! 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 It still irks me sometimes. The part where Kion, however you say that. Someone please tell me how to say that. That'd be great. Basically making fun of Piper. The whole not self-confidence thing. Oh my gosh, Piper, how many times have you talked about that in all of your sections of any book that you've ever been in? Like, so many times. Basically every time that you come up against a challenge, you're always like, I'm not good enough. And I get it. Like, people, like, in real life, we all don't feel good enough. And that's good that the character of Piper is reaching out to that part of us. But at the same time, it's every time. And I'm just like, stop it, Piper. This is so annoying. We all know you're good enough. You'll figure it out. Speaking of Leo and Calypso, I ship them so hard. Like, so hard. Guys, so hard. I love them so freaking much. What's their ship name, by the way? Have we as a fandom come up with that yet? Because I'm going to vote for Cleo. I think Cleo is really cool. I've thought about Lalypso, and that just seems like a nauseating disease. So I'm not going to go for that one. I'm voting Cleo. That we make Cleo the official ship name of Leo and Calypso. So, Cleo, guys. Hashtag Cleo. It's a thing. Going back to Piper, charm speak with Piper reminds me a lot of the book Fire that I read and that I still have yet to do a review on. Sorry. Okay, Frank. Yeah, I totally skipped the whole numbers thing. We're not going by numbers anymore. Bullet point. Something else. Frank. Taking up the mantle. Being the Praetor. We're gonna go with Praetor. He's a boss. In the beginning, I was like, Frank, you're such a noob. But now I'm just like, Frank, you're awesome. Not only can you turn into animals, but you're the son of the war god Mars, who is way cooler than Ares, his Greek counterpart, if you ask me. And you're also kind of related to Poseidon, which means you're related to Percy. And anyone related to Percy, I love them automatically. I really felt like his character took up the space left behind by Jason choosing the Greek side of himself and Percy not being there to lead. So, go Frank. Thinking on that moment, everyone was like, felt a lot of loyalty and a lot of love towards Frank Zane. Let's be real. Speaking of Jason turning to his Greek side, I really like that part of the book. I mean, we could all really tell that Jason was conflicting battles between Greek person and Roman person, and which one does he choose, and can he have a little bit of both, best of both worlds, Miley Cyrus and all that. Makes the book a lot more interesting because we have two characters, Percy and Jason. Percy is Greek, Jason is Roman, and yet they both seem to like things from the other person's world a lot more than their own. Maybe not a lot more, but at least equally. So in the end, I'm predicting this. This is my prediction, and I'm putting it on the internet so all of you people know. I said it, you heard it here first. Right here. You heard it here. At this YouTube channel. I said it first. Jason and Piper are going back to, at the end of everything, when they defeat Gia and everything is happy again, because we all know it will be, we just don't know how. Jason and Piper will go back to Camp Half-Blood, and Jason will be like the Percy of Camp Half-Blood, where he'll be basically kind of in charge, but not really, but he's like the huge hero. And Annabeth and Percy, I'm predicting, will go back to New Rome. Percy may not be a praetor, because Frank is not praetor, and Reyna, although thinking about it, Reyna might step down and let Percy be praetor, or Reyna might be killed and then Percy will be elected praetor. Either way, even if he isn't praetor, Annabeth and Percy will make a new life for themselves in New Rome together, because we know that's what we all want. And Jason and Piper are going to make lives for themselves at Camp Half-Blood, because Jason can bring the discipline part of New Rome and like the camaraderie and loyalty and togetherness, now that the Greeks don't have that, to Camp Half-Blood. And Annabeth and Percy can be at New Rome and bring some of the Greek stuff over to there. So I think it's going to work out well. That's my prediction. Don't get mad at me. It's just what I think. You don't have to think it too. But if you do think it, you heard it here first. Eh? Eh. Also, working off of that Percy and Annabeth reference, all of the future Percy and Annabeth references made me fangirl so hard and so much, so many feels. Like, let's be real, when the Annabeth and Percy are in Tartarus and you're just like, Percabeth, and then Annabeth is just like, I would go back to New Rome with Percy if that's what he wants to do, as long as I can get out of this stinking place Tartarus. And you're like, yes, Annabeth, do it, Annabeth, do it. You'll be so happy in New Rome. You can go to college, you can get married, you can have children. It'd be adorable. I'd just die of the feels. And also because Percy would no longer be available. A girl can dream, okay? This brings us to the end of the book and the end of this little review session. At least it wasn't a cliffhanger. That's all I'm going to say. But it could have been, like in The Son of Neptune, where Percy sees the ship and, like, Annabeth is going to be on the ship as it pulls into New Rome, but we don't get the actual encounter of Percabeth, which was super, super frustrating. But the Mark of Athena carried off that point, and then they met, etc., etc. It could have been like that, where at the end of this book, Percy and Annabeth could have come back from Tartarus, but like we didn't get the encounter of everyone together. So I'm glad we got that in this book. I'm gonna leave you there, and I'm gonna go pin and reblog things from Pinterest and Tumblr respectively about the House of Hades in order to make myself feel better from this House of Hades withdrawal. Well, if you like this video and this review, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button or comment below. I love to hear people's comments, especially about new theories and things they liked about the book. Also, thumbs up if you love the House of Hades, and thumbs down if you didn't. If anybody thumbs down, I will find you, and I will get you. You have been warned. And I'm just over here like, House of Hades. To my wonderful readers. I said viewers, just kidding. I keep on looking over here, but that's because I'm technically in a music room right now, a music practice room. So it's supposed to be soundproof so no one can hear my fangirling. My roommate was going crazy as I was finishing this book. Like, I just kept squealing every 5 minutes. I keep on, like, looking over at the window and the door to see if anyone's looking at me talking to a computer. It's not odd because we know what's going on here. We're in the know. To them, they have no clue. Those poor outsiders. What were they saying? I don't remember. I always lose track of what I'm talking about. It's very frustrating. Things from Pinterest and Tumblr, blah, 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 blah.